Hello guys, this is Mountain Range Productions, here today with another video. Now this video was meant to come out yesterday, and I was going to make it yesterday, but I pulled a Disturbed and got down with the sickness, so I had to postpone it for a day, but now I think I'm over it, so yeah, we are now back. So, what is the subject of today's video? Well, it is something that should be pretty synonymous with this channel: action shows. Now, I think you know my opinion on these based on just the name of the video and the thumbnail, and also if you've seen my videos before, but what can I say? I really freaking like this genre. Now, this mainly applies to the animated cartoons that are in the action genre, but I mean, you saw the thumbnail yet again, and you saw one of the shows I put in the thumbnail in some of my other videos, but yeah, I really like the action show genre. Now, it's obviously not perfect. There are some shows, well, a lot of shows actually, that feel pretty generic and don't really have a whole lot of staying power, but when it's done well, it is done beautifully. Yeah, there are a lot of shows in this genre that I think are done very well. So, this video is basically going to explain the main things that I like about the action genre itself. Now, again, when it mainly comes to shows, movies, not necessarily the same, but this video will explain why the action genre might just be my favorite when it comes to TV shows. Anyways, let's go on to the reasons. Now, I don't know if this will be turned into segments, but well, again, let's just get on to it. Now, one of the things that really makes me like the action genre so much is it's really one of those genres that really does a good job with blending in other genres. I guess you'd say, like, kind of genre mixing. I think that's what it could be described as. Like, yeah, there are a lot of action shows that it goes beyond just the action label. There are a lot of shows in this genre that have comedy thrown in there. There's even just other stuff like adventure thrown into it, because I mean, action and adventure are two completely different things. Maybe it could also be a show that throws in like some sci-fi horror, for example, or a mystery show, or just again, just I think a lot of the best shows in the genre go further than just the action show label and really do show that while it is an action show, it's not just completely relegated to the genre that it's labeled in. Another thing I really like about this genre is, even though I did say before that there are a lot of shows that do blend in with one another, there is also a lot of shows in the genre that don't blend in and do have not only just distinct differences that make them their different show, but also just things that should really satisfy pretty much anyone's craving if they do crave maybe one thing in particular, but also maybe want a little bit of everything. Like, here, I'll give some examples. Do you want to watch a show that has a good level of emotional maturity, but also doesn't mind having fun every once in a while? Well, Full Metal Alchemist, Avatar The Last Airbender, and Teen Titans are the shows for you. Do you want some shows that maybe don't take themselves as seriously, but still have a great level of depth, great characters, great storytelling, and maybe some great comedy in there too? Well, Danny Phantom, the Ben 10 franchise, Code Lyoko, and Spectacular Spider-Man really do fit this motif quite well. Do you maybe like a little bit of cheesiness in your action shows, but also at the same time having a lot of the great stuff that I mentioned before with the other shows? Well, the Power Rangers franchise is the unmatched king of this side of things. Okay, so just to cut to the chase, basically, if you really want a good action show that can appeal to you, there is a lot of really good shows out there for, again, if you want any of the things, like, for example, what I mentioned before, like great storytelling, great characters, great writing, just plenty of that stuff. There are a lot of distinct shows in the genre that really do appeal to, I think, could pretty much appeal to anyone if you're looking for a specific thing in the genre itself. But you know what my absolute favorite thing about the action genre is? Well, let's go into it. For a genre that's commonly labeled as things like basic, artificial, formulaic, and whatever other mean word you could use to describe it, a surprising amount of shows in the genre really do not pull any punches when it comes to the themes that they tackle. Like, seriously. Now, while not every single action show is willing to go to lengths to talk about really, I guess you'd say, real subjects or even touch on them in the best way possible, it is not uncommon at all to find a show in the action genre that does touch on themes in a really not only level headed but really mature way. Like, for example, the first three shows that I mentioned when I was giving examples, Avatar, Fullmetal Alchemist, and Teen Titans. All three of these shows touch on a lot of themes and a lot of subjects that are really they not only do they just make the show stand out a lot in the genre, but they really touch on these things in just a really mature way as well. Like here, I'll give some examples. Throughout all three of these shows, you'll find them talking about stuff like sibling abuse or kind of domestic abuse, I guess you could say. Avatar and Fullmetal Alchemist, to be specific, do focus on stuff like war and how it's not just simply black and white. They can also touch on stuff like drug abuse or again, there's just a lot of there's just a lot of stuff and a lot of content that these shows tackle on or had take on, I guess you'd say. Crap, even shows that don't take themselves nearly as seriously, like Danny Phantom, for example, which is a show I also mentioned. Like, even shows like that don't mind dipping their feet into really dark and real subjects. Like, let's take the episode The Ultimate Enemy, for example, which literally touches on the butterfly effect, and it also handled it really well. That's one of the best episodes of that show. Even shows that commonly get thrown around as just childish and they are just made to sell toys or some other dumb bullshit like that, like Ben 10 and Power Rangers, for example. Even these shows don't shy away from touching on either really dark subjects or, again, just focusing on real stuff. Like Power Rangers, there's literally an episode in one of the seasons that touches on racism and speciesism. Like, if shows like that were really just solely for kids, then they would just sugarcoat that shit. But the thing is, it doesn't. And again, the best thing about all these shows that I just mentioned, not just solely when touching on the dark subjects, but also just in general, the best thing about them is they don't talk down to their audience. They treat them with respect. And while not all the, well, I mean, Fullmetal Alchemist isn't a show that's necessarily for kids, but again, just all these shows that I mentioned, they don't talk down to their audience in any way. And while some of them are, again, maybe a bit more cheesier and childish than some other ones, again, there is stuff in there is content in there that is very either entertaining or just stuff that really made some memorable and made some stick out amongst other shows in the genre, like I've said multiple times before. But anyways, I think this video's gone on long enough. I just really liked this genre. I might even go as far as to say that the action genre might just be my favorite genre for shows in general. Well, again, mainly in terms of animated shows, but there is the one live action show that I mentioned here, Power Rangers. I like that one as well. And again, I really like, again, a lot of these shows in general, like Avatar, Teen Titans, Fullmetal Alchemist, Danny Phantom, Code Lyoko, Ben 10, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, which I didn't mention at all in this video until now, but I really like those shows as well. Again, just a great genre overall. And again, while not every show in there is perfect, there are a lot that really are worth checking out. And again, one thing that I will also state just at the end of this, I know there are some people that aren't maybe the biggest fan of this genre, and I can completely understand it. And I know some shows in this genre that I mentioned, they might have some things that may turn off some people. Like, I know not everyone's probably going to find the jokes like in shows like Danny Phantom or Teen Titans to land all the time. And I know some people may be put off by the constant animation style changes of shows like Totally Yoko. And I know maybe not everyone's gonna be there, I guess you'd say, for the kind of cheesiness and some of the kind of more childish aspects, I guess you'd say, of shows like Power Rangers or Ben 10. Like, I completely understand if that stuff's not for you. But I don't think stuff like that is a reason to not at least give them a chance at first. Like, just watch the shows for yourselves, and then you make up your own mind about it. That's just the ended message that I like to leave this video off on. But, yeah, I'm Mountain Range Productions, and see you guys in the next video.